Are you looking to sell your business, but how do you go about it? In this video, I'm going to talk about what are the first steps when deciding to sell your business, how to value your business, what are some of the pitfalls to avoid in the process, how it is important to engage the right business broker, and lastly, why you should consider having an exit plan to help you along the way. So, let's get started. Sat down and you decided that you want to sell your business. But why? It is important to wrap your head around why exactly you want to sell your business now, because that will matter long term in the process. Are you retiring? Are you burned out? Are you being pressured into the sale by your business partner? All of those things can determine the timeline for your exit. So it's important to understand how urgent the sale really is. Do you have just 6 months because your family is moving from UK to Dubai soon? Or can you take another 12 to 24 months to actually prepare for the sale? When it comes to any deal, it is best if your time constraints are not limiting your negotiation power. The buyers can feel it when the business owner is desperate for a deal. If possible, try not to set artificial time constraints for yourself so it doesn't backfire on you. I recently went to a market where I literally had to haggle for everything, and the fact that I was willing to walk away from a bad deal usually meant that the price could be driven down to a more reasonable level. The same analogy applies to the sale of your business, but of course, the stakes are a lot higher. Can you afford to rush the sale of the business now? One of the ways to answer this question is to conduct an evaluation of your business. It could be that your business is not actually worth what you think. 99% of the time, it's usually less than your target number. So, who should you assign to this task? Your accountant, a business broker, someone you've never met before, do it yourself? The truth is, whoever is performing your business valuation needs to understand 1. Basic principles of accounting, 2. Know the average multiples of other comparable businesses that's sold in your industry, and lastly, have a good understanding of how the multiples may be affected by different risk factors in your business. In terms of accounting, different business professionals would use different methods to assess the financial standing of one's business. For example, they may opt in to use something called the discounted cash flow. However, knowing the numbers is pointless if you don't know how much a business like yours sells on average. You cannot compare your business to the likes of Instagram when it's sold to Meta if your business is smaller or if it is in a different industry. Compare apples to apples. And once you've figured out the benchmarks, now you need someone to take a look at your business and assess it from the standpoint of what is the inherent value in the business, and not just from the financial standpoint, and what are the risks that could affect the valuation. We will come back to this last point later in the video, but the question now is, who is the person that could perform the initial valuation for your business? This is what most business owners get wrong. Naturally, you want to talk to someone who has completed deals before, a business broker. But the problem is that not all business brokers are the same. What you may be tempted to do is to go to one of the biggest brokerage firms in the country and engage them for valuation and also to sell your business. The problem with that is that when you approach someone like that, you don't always get the best advice. Just like lawyers, accountants, dentists, some brokers are better than others, and certain brokers do not have your best interests at heart. They're not interested in giving you a realistic valuation. They want to tie you into a contract, and they're perfectly happy with receiving your retainer and not selling your business at the end, because they have hundreds of other businesses that they have very similar arrangements with. They're not good at selling businesses. They're good at marketing their services. That's the difference between them and good professionals. And so to decide which broker to go with, I highly recommend talking to specialists in professional circles. Be it exit planners, who? Me? Accountants, or M&A lawyers, because it can seem like a daunting task at first, but you need those recommendations. Usually, the professionals that come recommended by others have years of experience. They understand your particular sector, and they can provide a fair and, most importantly, realistic valuation of your business. If you do decide to engage a broker right away and go through the sale process, the broker will normally then sign a contract with you. Make sure that you read that contract, because many, if not most of the brokers, work on exclusive basis, and also fee structures may vary. Experienced brokers would normally charge a set retainer and a commission fee on the final sale of the business. After the contract is signed, the brokers would put together an information memorandum and then start approaching buyers. The broker may also put your listing up for sale on various marketing platforms. Once the buyer is found, an NDA is usually signed with the buyer before disclosing more details, and then the broker and yourself will be at the negotiation table with the acquirer. This is part of the reason why, despite what I may say about brokers, it is actually helpful to have an experienced deal maker representing your company, because experienced acquirers will run circles around someone who is selling a business for the first time. Remember how earlier I said that you need to figure out what are the risks in your business? Well, a buyer will use those risks to discount the final sale price. However, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. For most businesses, if the owner deferred their exit by another 24 to 36 months, they could potentially get a lot more for it by putting the right exit planning strategy in place. Engaging an exit planner can make the difference between increasing that multiple to 6 or 7x compared to the 2x, or very often, not selling your business at all. But what is exit planning exactly, and what does the exit planner do? For that, make sure to subscribe and watch the next video, because that is where I'm going to give you a deep dive into the exit planning process and everything that it entails. Until next time!